Hey, what's going on, guys? Vatican City here. And today we're going to be reacting um to something called Autism Spectrum: Atypical Minds in a Stereotypical World. Um, and I'm currently on the spectrum myself, but yeah, I'm gonna be telling you what's true and what's not about it.
In one easy appointment, we can replace your windshield and recalibrate your advanced safety system. Great, thanks. Stay safe with SafeLight. Schedule now. SafeLight repair, SafeLight replace.
When we examine 100 random teenagers, we would find that while they all look different, their minds work in very similar ways. One or two, however, have minds that are atypical in a particular way. They could be diagnosed with autism. This happens to boys 4 times as much, perhaps because diagnosing them is easier. Children and adults who are considered autistic experience the world differently because they were born with various degrees of neuroatypical traits. Most autistic children have more refined senses and share a deep desire to bring logic into their surroundings. So,
Um, so most of the time I don't really try to um uh uh bring logic into my surroundings.
some seek repetitive behaviors that follow specific patterns, and
That is true.
many appear to be asocial and avoid eye contact. Autism is not
That's also true.
a disease and therefore cannot be cured.
Yes, that is a fact.
Since all our brains are different and there is an endless range of nuances in their architecture, autism is defined as a spectrum. On one side of the spectrum is high functioning autism, also
That's me right there.
known as Asperger's syndrome. These children are highly intelligent and have extreme abilities and interest in specific areas. In the middle are those with average intelligence and some problems learning new things in school. On the far end of the spectrum are children with severe learning disabilities who may require support in their daily lives. Timo, a young boy, can help us understand how living with a neurodivergent mind can be. His mum noticed early on that her boy would avoid eye contact and that he would often become upset if she hugged him. He never returned smiles.
Um, uh, that thing about the hugs, is not true at all. I mean, I love hugs.
And engaging him in play with friends often ended in a tantrum.
Um, uh, uh, I don't really, throw a fit, whenever I have, um, play with friends.
His mother suspected something to be wrong when Timo still wasn't speaking more than 2 or 3 words at a time, even after turning 4 years old.
I mean, honestly, you guys have seen me, um, with like, how I talk, right? Um, uh, I can speak using fluent sentences, but, sometimes I'm having like a hard time, um, talking in, uh, words like that. Um, but yeah, most of the time I can speak in long sentences.
She sought help, and Timo was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD for short. Timo has an atypical perception. When reading books or watching movies, Timo's brain picks up and organizes the information differently, while his neurotypical peers categorize things and form schemas. For example, they identify everything with four legs that barks as a dog. For Timo, each type of dog is unique
Yeah, that's me. Um, I can identify a bunch of different kinds of
and
dog breeds.
categorized in Timo's mind individually. His attention to detail and inability to generalize makes Timo more objective in his perception of the world and less prone to a framing bias. However, it also makes all sorts of new experiences incredibly complex, which is why he loves to follow a rigid daily routine.
Um, uh, sometimes, um, uh, so, sometimes, people on the spectrum, like to follow routines and sometimes others don't.
To limit his
Um, for me, I don't really follow a routine.
sensory input. Timo is highly sensitive. His brain amplifies whatever input it perceives. He hears everything and has a heightened sense of touch. However,
Yeah, that's me. Like I could hear stuff like really easily. Um,
this
yeah,
superpower makes situations where many people speak simultaneously very challenging. Timo hears everyone but understands nothing.
um, yeah, that's partially true. Um, anything that's loud, I don't really like. Um, uh, be because it makes my ears hurt and also my ears start to ring.
The sensitivity to touch makes eating an intense experience. If a texture or flavor is too much to handle, Timo won't eat it.
Yeah, that's also me.
Also, walking barefoot on wet grass or playing in dirt overwhelms his brain.
I'm okay with walking barefoot in grass, but I don't really like the feeling of walking barefoot in dirt. It's just too squishy.
He has a fascination with logic. Timo naturally looks for patterns that bring logic into this world. Sometimes he also tries to bring order into his own behavior and ways of moving his body. When structured patterns are broken, he gets upset. It freaks him out when someone counts to 8 but doesn't continue to 10.
Oh yeah,
Doc-
um this isn't true at all for me.
Doctors call it an obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD. Timo experiences social disconnection. He has trouble connecting with others because social settings overwhelm his sensitivity and desire for order. Because human emotions are incredibly complex and don't follow a set predictable pattern, Timo often finds himself misreading situations and upsetting people around him. As a consequence, he avoids people and rarely makes eye contact, which doesn't matter that much to him, since most of the things other people talk about are illogical, irrelevant, and boring
Uh, yeah, that last part wasn't me at all. I like to listen to what other people have to say.
anyway. For 4 years, his mother had him treated by a therapist who would show him images of faces to help him learn to identify feelings. This meant he got
Identifying feelings is really easy for me. For example, if someone's like crying um and they have a frown on their face, that means they're really sad. Um, but uh, but if people are like laughing, and have a big smile on their face, then that means that they're happy.
Got better at identifying facial expressions and corresponding emotions. However, personally, he is still not very interested in reading faces or establishing new social contacts. He has two friends who share the same interests and couldn't wish for more.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, having more than one or two friends, that's fine for me. Um, um, uh, because having more than that, it's just kind of overwhelming for me. To like, it's kind of overwhelming for me to have to hang out with like every single one of my friends, um, like every single day, which is why I like to have one or two friends.
Since Timo's autism is not an illness we can treat, but rather a different way of him experiencing the world, the question remains whether we should try to change him through therapy or accept him for who he is.
Um, yeah, I like the second option better because I don't really like people trying to change me.
So, what do you think? Should we treat children with autism with therapy or celebrate them for who they are? Or perhaps do both? Maybe it's not their atypical minds, but our stereotypical way of looking at them that needs correction. To get a three-dimensional glimpse of how an autistic girl experiences her own surprise birthday party, or to download this video without background music, check the descriptions below or visit sproutschools.com.
Um, but yeah, so that was Autist reacts, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.